I wanna be your sledgehammer. Why don't you call my name? Oh, let me be your sledgehammer.
Welcome back to Sledgehammer Performance. So I'm on the garage again today, getting ready for a show that's coming up tomorrow in Hudson, Iowa. It's at Zion Lutheran Church, and it goes to benefit the youth of that organization. So typically when I'm getting ready for a show, if my car is already in pretty good shape from a detailing standpoint, I like to go over it with a thorough wash just to make sure I get all the road grime off of the car. And then in the drying process, I use this P&S bead maker. This really helps to enhance your drying process to make everything slicker so you're not going to end up with many water spots on your paint. This works great. So once the car is all dried with bead maker, I'll let it sit for about a half an hour. And then to enhance my ceramic coating, I'll use another product from P&S, and it's called Inspiration Defender. Now this will bond with this, which is great because that's going to give us a nice shiny seal, and it reaches its full effect after about 8 hours or so. So I've got about 24 hours until the show, so I'm going to be in pretty good shape. So I'm going to continue with the drying process using the bead maker. And again, I'll wait a half hour and then go over with this. So let's get finished with that.
Shake that thing, miss. Can I shake that thing, miss? And I better shake that thing, yeah. Donna, Jody and Rebecca. Woman, get busy. Just shake that booty non-stop when the beat drop. Just keep swinging it, get jiggy. Get drunk up, percolate anything you want to call it. Oscillate if I don't take pity. Want to see you get live on the rhythm of my ride. And my lyrics up about electricity.
Okay, so that completes that drying process with bead maker. And as you can see, it does have a pretty good luster already. And we'll let this set for a little bit. Now I do want to point out that I don't have a reverse osmosis filtration system, but I do have my hose hooked up to soft water, so at least I get a little bit of that benefit from a water spotting perspective. So we'll wait a half hour and then we'll go ahead and put the Defender on the paint and we'll see what we end up with before the show. So while we're waiting for this to cure, and before we put on that coating of Defender, this is the time that I use to pay attention to my wheels and tires and also the front grille, just to make sure that it's all nice and detailed. That way I'm not wasting time, and then by the time I get all that stuff done, that will have given the bead maker time to set up and it's ready for my next step. So we're going to give this wheel a quick detail. I've already brushed out everything with some wheel cleaner and a brush while I was washing the car. So now what we're left with is a blank slate, and I'm going to put a tire coating on, and then I'm going to use invisible glass to clean up the chrome. People may disagree with me on the effectiveness of this, but it's always worked well for me, and it doesn't damage that finish at all. For the tire shine, we're going to use this P&S Shine All, and I use one of these nice foam applicators. So I don't like to spray it on the wheel in the tire. I like to spray it on the applicator and then just go right around the tire. The nice thing about this stuff is that it doesn't really get messy, and if you're careful in your application, it's not going to pool in the grooves of the tire, because you definitely don't want this to sling onto your paint after you've spent all this time getting this vehicle ready. Okay, then I like to go around this little lip, because that's one thing that annoys me is when I miss spots on the tire and I see them during a show and I don't have anything with me to address it. So, all right, so we've got that coated. So the next step then is going to be to use invisible glass. Just give it a spray on all the chrome surfaces. And then we'll just wipe it down. And this gives you a really nice opportunity to get a good look at your chrome to see if there's any remaining water spots that you just can't get out with a nice buff. I'm seeing a few, so what I might do is come back and address those a little bit later with some Flitz. The other thing that I want to do is typically on Corvettes, we like to have the bottom of the logo point to the tire stem. Okay, so here we are with the hubcap pointed down towards our valve stem. And to get this off, it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but I do like to use plastic trim tools to make sure I'm not going to be scratching any of my wheel up. So this wheel is pretty much ready to go. I might wipe down my caliper a little bit more here, but it's already in pretty good shape since I did scrub it down during my wet wash. Okay, so that wheel's done. So we will move on to the rest of them, get those done, and by the time I am that far in the process, we will be ready to put that coat of the Defender, P&S Defender on this car. Alright, so we're still waiting for the bead maker to set up. I do have all 4 of the wheels done. So we'll do a quick walk around here just to see how things are looking. As you can see, the bead maker does really put a nice luster on that paint. And there's our wheel. Don't pay attention to the brake disc since that's going to remain a little bit water spotted, but that'll burn off in short order. So the next thing we're going to do then is I like to make sure that my tailpipes are nice and shined. Because if you're a Corvette owner, you know that these 2 outside pipes like to get coated with oil right around this area here. Mine still look pretty good because I do wipe them down at least once a week. So usually what I do is I'll wipe them down first and then I'll just go over them with either Brasso or Flitz. So I think today we'll just use Flitz. Okay, so here we are with our Flitz finish polish. So I just take that in a microfiber towel and wipe down each tailpipe. One of my biggest pet peeves with these cars is to see them with dirty tailpipes, because it does happen. I'm a stickler for detail. On an amateur level, of course, but still. And I like to try and get inside the pipe a little bit too, since people will see that. I know I will. Just a little bit of the product on top of the tailpipes. And then we'll give those a buff with what I call the shoe polish method. Oh, same thing on the next pipe. And again, my methods may not be what you're used to seeing from a professional detail shop, but they work, and they work for me, which is what counts. All right, and there we go. 4 shine tailpipes. And again, even after 11 years, they're all still perfectly aligned and everything looks great in there. So we're good to go on those. Okay, so our next step in this process is we're going to go over the entire car with this P&S Inspiration Defender. This is really nice for a top coat, even though you can also use it for a standalone coat. Now, my car was ceramic coated by me with Adams ceramic coating, and that was back in May, and it has held up fantastically over the last several months. So at this point, I'm going to just go ahead and apply a nice even coat of this Inspiration Defender. And to apply this, what I'm going to use is an Adams Polishes microfiber cloth that's designed for this kind of thing. These are really nice and plush, and it does make quick work of this. So let's get started with that. So the final thing we're going to do in this exterior detail is we're going to just look over the paint real closely using a nice clean dry microfiber towel. And what I'm looking for is just any high spots from the ceramic spray that we finished with.
Sir, do you know this yet?
It's really easy to see under the LED lights that I have in my garage. They're pretty bright. If you come at it from an angle, you can pretty easily see what you're looking for, which is hopefully nothing, but I already found one spot that needed addressing. Okay, the last part of our exterior detail is going to be to clean the glass. You want to save this for the last piece because we've gone over this thing a few different times with a couple of different detailing sprays, and you're going to end up with a lot of it on your glass, so make this the last step. So I'm going to be using invisible glass for this. Seems to work pretty well. Okay, everything is done and we are ready for the show tomorrow. Just to review what we've done is it was a hand wash with a foam cannon. Paid real close attention to detail with that. During the drying process, I used P&S Bead Maker, and that really helped give a nice sheen to the car. After waiting a half hour and cleaning all the wheels up, I put on a coat of SiO2 Defender from P&S. Let that set a little bit and then wiped it down with a low pile microfiber cloth. Then I cleaned all the windows with invisible glass, made sure those were all nice and streak free. So we're ready to go. Let me know what you think of this quick detail for a show down in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe.
A few moments later.
So I wanted to show why I did not choose to detail the engine bay. This is what it normally looks like, and it was last detailed about a month ago, so it's still in pretty good shape. Certainly in good enough shape for a church car show. Now, normally if the engine bay does need some attention, I usually attack it with two different products. The first one is the P21S Total Auto Wash, and I'll spray the engine bay with that and rinse it lightly with water and then go over with a microfiber towel to make sure it's all dry. And the second option is going to be the CD2 engine detailer. I don't think you can get this stuff anymore, so I have chosen to use Gryatt's engine detailer. I think that's a pretty good replacement for this. I've still got a little bit of this left, so I'm going to continue to use it until it's gone. Now, I do get asked a lot what I take with me to a car show to make sure that my car is as ready as it can be. Typically what I'll do is just take a couple of microfiber cloths and my low pile window cleaning cloth. I'll take my invisible glass, which can also double as a rim cleaner, and then my Adams Polishes graphene detail spray. All those fit nicely in my little Tupperware container, and that's all I take. Really not a whole lot to it.
Oh yeah!